It's Cookin, everybody. It's your boy Brees, and you're now tuned into the hottest upcoming platform for all the entrepreneurs, creatives, business professionals, and entertainers around the city. So today I have a good friend of mine as my special guest, and she's going to talk about her nonprofit organization and what's done for the community, as well as the whole state of New York as it is. So without further ado, Bianca.
Hi guys. I'm so nervous, but I'm so happy to be here finally because I know we've been planning, talking about this for months. So thank
Listen,
you for
oh,
having me.
listen, if it makes you feel better, all my guests that I spoke to today, I was just like, yo, my bad. Yeah, so it's a pleasure to finally have you here.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it.
yeah, so Beyond the Block, that was a very interesting concept from the name to the design to just the idea. So like what really sparked all of that?
So when I was studying in grad school, I really took an interest in organizations and communities.
Mhm.
And being that I'm from Flatbush, I'm like a city girl. I take the train. I'm always, on the dollar cabs or whatever. I wanted something that represented New York City culture, the
Mhm.
New York City culture that we're actually losing, you know. But I wanted to represent that in its entirety, from the logo to the language that we use to the events that we curate. So Beyond the Block embodies New York City, the old New York City,
I mean,
not
it,
the
de- it
not
definitely it definitely does with the logo. I'll say
Yes,
that. I
yes.
like that
So
a lot.
I'm fascinated with the city because, it holds a dear place in my heart. And I wanted to make sure that when people see us, they're like, oh my God, I think of like Brooklyn. I
Mhm.
think of like New York. And I'm like, yes, this is it. So the name itself, I decided on with my friend actually. She helped me come up with a couple of names because I was like, I wanted something that represented the hood, but I also thought about, like, how we have the block, like, everyone's always
Mhm.
on the block, everyone's
That's how I
always on
seen
the
it
Ave,
too.
right. Everyone's always on the Ave, so I want people to have that space, of course, because we love the block, we love the hood, but it also doesn't love us back sometimes, so
Mhm.
I want my kids to go beyond that. I want them to be able to see the world and see the city outside the confines of their neighborhoods. So she was like, "What about beyond?" I'm like, "Yo, like
Mhm.
you're so smart." And honestly, it seems so simple, but at the time when I was brainstorming, it was really hard for me to come up with something that, flowed.
Mhm.
So I was so grateful that she came up with the beyond part once I told her like what my vision was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely like that a lot. One thing I was gonna point out too is so you said you went to grad school, right? So
Mhm.
I understand you went to school with Akira, right?
Yes. No, actually I didn't. Akira and I we met because I was studying for my license exam, and I needed a study partner, and
Mhm.
she said, "You know what? I'll come with you to the library and
You
stuff."
said the licensing exam
Yeah,
for
for my social work
social work. Okay,
license. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like I know she's into like investment stuff, so I thought it was
Yes.
probably like what
So
insurance or something
two
like that.
two different careers,
Okay.
but we had a similar goal. We wanted to be on our A game, and we knew that we couldn't do it at home, so we needed to go to, a third place so
Mhm.
that we can actually, study.
Okay. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny enough because it's like at the time we're recording this, this is like her episode's dropping this week.
No
Yeah, so
way.
I
Look
didn't
at
even want to say anything because I wanted to keep it as a surprise. I was
that.
just like,
That's crazy.
yeah,
But yeah.
and yeah, she's been doing her thing with
Yeah,
organic
definitely.
juice and whatnot. Yeah.
Definitely. For sure.
So backstory. So
Yeah.
I know you said Fish was asking you what's the backstory. So and you said you don't remember. So I remember because I remember this was back in like middle school around that
No
area.
way.
It was.
Oh my
When I
gosh.
look back at it, that's where it started. But we didn't really speak like that. It was like
Yeah.
there was like it was like a Haitian community group. Yeah,
Really?
it was a Haitian community group. And then like, but it wasn't like one of those like hate like everything Haitian. It was just
Mhm.
like a bunch of like Haitian teenagers in one spot, just like talking and whatnot. And it was some mixy group. It was some mixy group.
See?
Cause once you told me you went to Roy Man, I was like, oh yeah, now I remember. I know you go. Cause there was a lot of them from Roy Man was in that
No,
chat.
I went to Marine Park.
I swear you told me you went to Roy Man.
No, I went to Marine Park, but I had a lot of friends at Roy H. Man. Yeah, and I
Nah, I
used to be
swear you
there a
told me you went to
lot.
Roy Man.
No.
That's crazy. But I pieced it together though. It was like from that group because there was a lot of them that went there. I mean, yeah,
That's
it was a
so
lot of Haitians that went
funny.
there. it was like I remember I added all of them, and that's the thing too, because it's like not just with you, but there was a lot of people that I just knew them. It's like we're like, oh, we both Haitian.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah.
nah, I didn't just add you because you're Haitian. Like, I mean, I did add you because you're Haitian, but
We had a lot of
where did
mutuals.
I, you know, run
Yeah.
into? And it was that one group.
That's
Was that
so
one
funny.
group. And then it's like I remember when I first met you in person, that was it was like a party or something like that. I remember I seen you, I was like, oh, you're such
Wait,
and such.
was it Akira's event?
No, but she was there. It was funny because I remember she told me
It was the rooftop event.
no. Prior to
before
that, prior to
Okay.
that, there was
Wow.
it was a random party,
Wow,
but
so
she
we
was
go
there.
way back.
She was there at that
Way
party too,
back.
because I remember she was telling me that's actually like how like you know she met her boyfriend at the time,
Yeah.
and she was telling because I was telling her that's where I met you at, and I remember because it was you and it was your friend. And your friend was lit. That's what I remember because like the way she was acting, it was too memorable. It was like
I wish
she was
I remember
drunk
what
and she
party
was.
what that was.
I don't remember what party it was, but I just vividly remember your friend was like acting up. I won't say who though.
You got to
'cause
tell me later.
I'll tell you later. But I remember that because I was like, oh, I remember you like you're the girl from Facebook, and then you were like, how you know me? I was like, oh, this is me. I showed you my page. He's like, oh, I see you all the time. I was like, yeah.
We have a lot of mutuals.
And
a
then
lot of mutuals.
then we were cool after that. And then Akira's event happened right after that.
Yes.
And that's why I seen her. I'm like, what are you doing here? She
That's
was like, oh,
crazy.
Akira's
It's
my
probably
friend.
been like
I'm
a
like,
decade, more than a
yeah.
decade.
And I was, I ain't gonna lie, I was going that night at that event. That's why I don't even remember like not just you, but other people that I seen there. Like there was this one guy named Reem. He was there. I'm just like, I remember seeing y'all, but I was so gone.
It was a mix.
That I was just like, nah, what's going on?
Yeah,
but
a lot of people there.
But yeah, now it's like I always run into you like somewhere.
I know.
Like it's crazy. I run into you like at the most
outside.
randomest times. Like
I be outside.
yeah, but yeah. So that's the backstory. So jog your memory there. I hope so.
Middle school. That's crazy.
Well, not middle school, high school. I meant to say because it was like like everybody was in that group was like 14, 15.
Yeah,
whatever.
At the time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the backstory to how it is, and it's just like. From the moment you started Beyond the Block to now, it's like, you know, I love the fact that, you know, I've seen a lot of like, you know, progression with everything that's going on. And just like the message that you're sending. And also too, I just like it's one of those things, it's kind of like you believe it at first. Like a lot of people, it's like, for example, like, you know, a clothing line. A lot of people not go buy your clothes at first, but it's like when they see people buying your clothes, when they see you doing pop-up shops, stuff like that, they believe in it. But Beyond the Block was something I'm like, oh yeah, she's gonna go forward with this because it's like it's something positive. Even with this podcast, a lot of people were telling me they love the podcast idea from the jump because it's like we're both doing something serviceable for the community.
Yes.
So where it's like, you know, how can you hate on it? For me, even if it doesn't blow up and become like a worldwide thing, like for either of us, how can you hate on what we're doing? Because we're helping a lot of people.
Helping our community.
There's people who, you know, received a lot of positive just from, you know, being in contact with me, I'm sure with you. Like even this morning on Facebook, one of our previous guests, Kevin, he posted a reel in the Black Resource Network. Are you you're in that group?
Yes, I love that group.
Yeah, so he posted a reel in there because he did episode with me last week, and he posted a reel in there, and he was saying, big up to Fabrice, you know, he did this for me, blah blah blah. He's a good guy. Tap in with him, and people that you know the episodes with me in the past commented and said, you know. He really is a good guy. Y'all should tap into the podcast, whatnot. And then, you know, shout out to Aya. She gave her, her testimony. She was like, yeah, you know, Fabrice the episode with me. And then people start coming to my studio saying they see me from his page and whatnot. So
I love that Facebook group. Yeah. They are.
I feel like they play a little favor sometimes. Though, I ain't gonna lie.
They show a little favor. Listen, I mean, if you're from
I was
Queens,
telling Kevin, I was telling my friend
Queens,
that, like,
listen. If you're from Queens, they definitely hold it down. But that group has been so supportive of Beyond the Block. I mean, like, if I say I need something, they will go through highs and lows just to get it for me. The other day, I needed a sprinter to take my kids to Six Flags. Someone sent me the money automatically, no questions asked. Like, that is what I mean about when I talk about community. Like, my community shows up for me every single time. It's insane. That group has done wonders. And I'm also in the Bed-Stuy Facebook group. They are,
okay.
Yes.
You need to add me into
Listen.
Add me into all of them because I could do numbers in there.
They hold it down with the spots, recommendations, food, I mean, music, event spaces, they are so reliable. And I mean, that's what community is. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, because one thing I was thinking is like usually with our episodes, like we usually deal with like the people that's like trying to make like it sounds crazy to say, but trying to make money. Like they're here to promote themselves to make money
Yes.
off of potential customers.
Yes.
They're here to talk about the money they made. So in this case, it's like more so it's like you're talking more so about what you've done for the community and what you will do and what you can do for the community. So I like the fact that this feels more natural
Genuine.
and
Yeah.
genuine,
Yeah.
where it's like, look, this is
Absolutely.
somebody doing this out the
Kindness of
kindness
their
of her
heart.
heart. She wants to really help and serve people. She's
Yeah.
not here to try to sell anybody on anything.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And they question it at first, like everyone feels like I want something out of
yeah,
it.
of course.
People
We're
be
from New
like,
York City.
"Oh, is it free?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my services are free or low cost. Like sometimes we can't cover everything. So we do expect a little monetary gift here and there. But yes, everything I do for Beyond the Block is 100% free. I don't ever
Because
want
nonprofit, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't ever want people to come out of pocket just to have a good time. Like that's ridiculous, especially kids. Like kids can't afford to go to Six Flags. Although like they had to pay for their admission ticket, they didn't have to pay for food or transportation. So like that's how we try to make things work. And people question it. They're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yes, really." A lot of people is like, "Why don't you make this a business?" Why? Why do I have to make money off of everything? Granted,
Well, at
nonprofit
that point, you just become a daycare.
exactly. And we have enough of those, right?
Yeah.
And nonprofits do make money. It's just different than an actual, barter or storefront, whatever the case may be. So I mean, a lot of people kind of made me second guess, like maybe I should make it a business, but I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want to make it a business. I want this to be a service that people get for free. And
Yeah,
they can
especially I
use
know I know like a good amount of people too. Well, not a good amount, but I do know a few people that do like grants and stuff like that for nonprofits. So I'll definitely get you in
Yeah.
contact for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We need all the money that we could get if you're listening.
No, trust me, they listening because these are people that really support the podcast and whatnot, show
Yeah.
love, share everything. So yeah, I'm sure they definitely could be willing to do
Absolutely.
that. And plus, I just reach out to them myself anyways. But
Thank you.
yeah. So I was gonna ask. So like, you start up the nonprofit. What was the mind? Well, yeah. What was the mindset like in terms of the I guess creation of everything. So like from designing, your logos or thinking about what your first service opportunity is gonna be to any type of paperwork you had to fill out. Like what was your mindset going into the whole planning process, if I should say?
So ideally, I was working at a foster care agency, and my kids at that point have been in foster care for like, I mean, 5 or 6 years, maybe 10, and they didn't have any resources or tools under their belt. And when I thought about it, I'm like, well, that's not fair. They didn't ask to be in foster care. They didn't ask to have incompetent parents. So I wanted something that would allow them to get those tools and resources and opportunities despite their geographic location, their income, or whatever their circumstances. So when I created Beyond the Block, I was like, you know what? Kids are going to have a safe space to come, get what they need, and become our next generation of future leaders.
Right.
So that's really how it all came about. And then I thought about like the things that I participated in as a child. Like my parents always put me in summer camp. And I hated it at the time because it's
I
like,
ain't gonna lie, I hated it too.
I hated it at the time because like, why do I have to wake up during the summer? But it helped me form my identity and form positive peer connections because I have so many friends from summer camp that support me to this day. And it's insane to think about. And I had, counselors and teachers and step coaches, dance coaches that poured into me throughout the years. So when I thought about that, and my parents sent me to summer camp for free because of their health insurance. And a lot of people don't know that summer camp is really expensive. So I was blessed to have gone to summer
Like
camp.
what you mean by you saying like the citywide summer camps, or are you saying like specific private
Well,
ones?
some of them were private summer camps that I guess worked with insurance companies, and they were able to send us for free. My
Mhm.
parents didn't have to pay anything. I mean, sometimes, like, of course, if we go on a day trip, they'll send me with some money to go like Coney Island or Splish Splash or whatever. But ultimately, my parents didn't have to pay for that stuff. Same with like my SAT prep at NYU. Those things my parents generally sent me to were at no cost to them. But I say that all to say, when I was thinking about like what I wanted Beyond the Block to be, I thought about the activities that I partaked in. So
Mhm.
step, dance, cheer, band, music, whatever the case may be, I want all those services to be for kids at no cost.
Right.
So that's ideally how I came up with this whole crazy idea.
Mhm.
And we've been doing it. We last year we had step and dance and it was great. I'm hoping that we can do graphic design and music production in 2024. So hopefully, we find reliable people that
Oh, what's
can
cooking will definitely get you those.
I hope so because we really need like role models that people that are in these industries in these spaces to really pour into kids because
Mhm.
they are our next future generation of leaders and we need to really equip them with the skills.
Yeah. So, I guess like yeah. So kind of following back to my question then. So like in terms of the processing, in terms of like, well, let me ask you a different way. In terms of like what was required, like what did you have to do in terms of like getting all
Mhm.
this started?
Woo! That's a loaded question because
I would
I
assume there's a lot of paperwork.
yeah, there is. And you know what? I didn't have any experience in that realm. So thank God, my community Facebook groups that I was a part of told me what the requirements were for the New York State. Google, I love Google, but it wasn't helpful at that time
Mhm.
because there was no clear cut answer. It was a lot of language that I didn't understand at the time and a lot of fees and paperwork that I needed to file. But eventually, I was able to partner with my grad school law program. So I went to Fordham University and they have a law school there.
Oh yeah, you did
And
go to Fordham.
yeah, and they were able
I was
to
thinking Bridgeport earlier. That's
well,
why.
yeah, that
Yeah.
too. Fordham was able to assign me a group of students to oversee my paperwork, so for free, for
Hmm.
pro bono. So, in order to complete their clinical hours, they need to work with a nonprofit organization or a business, whatever the case may be, to get their clinical hours in order to graduate. So they had a supervisor that oversaw all my documents, made sure like I filed for my 501(c)(3), make sure I filed for the New York State, made sure my name was like everything down to the T. So thank God, you
Yes,
know,
that process is over.
yeah. But people ask
But it's
me and
probably
I'm
in
like,
renewals too, though, right?
I'm sorry, say that
Like
again.
renewals, like
Yeah,
paper.
renewals. I mean, right now we're good for a while, but I'm sure like when that time will come, I'll be able to tap in with them again. And people ask me like, how did you start? And I'm like, child,
Hmm.
listen, I just had a dollar in a dream at the no, for real. Like I had a dollar in a
Hmm.
dream at the time, and luckily enough, like people were interested and people were like, "I'll help, whatever you need. Like here's a template for bylaws." I
Hmm.
mean, like what? They gave me everything. And I am a huge advocate of joining Facebook groups because this is where I got all this information. And
Hmm.
then eventually, someone was like, check in with your graduate school program, check in with this person, check in with that person. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And here we
Yeah,
are.
because even as teachers too, it's like there's a lot of programs that just pay for the
Yes.
tuition
Yes. Yep.
as they're
Absolutely.
learning, as long as they're like teaching.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel
And
like we've seen a lot of that with the pandemic too.
there's so many free resources. People don't have no idea. I mean, even the city have workshops and training sessions dedicated to this type of stuff for small business owners, for women, black owned businesses, nonprofit organization that little people like myself don't even know about.
Hmm.
So I'm grateful enough to like have people in my corner that will send me things like, I think you would be great for this. I think you should apply for this. Because if I didn't, listen, Beyond the Block would not be.
It would
So
just be the block.
yeah, literally, literally. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for, you know, the people that show up for me and the people that believe in Beyond the Block because they helped us, you know, carry these
Mhm.
things. Yeah.
That's what's up. So like, just talk about just some of the like, I mean, you did tell us like what you've done in terms of like the type of activities you provide and whatnot, but what were like some significant ones that you'd probably say that really like, I guess if you had to think about all the things you've done, those were the key moments that stood out to you.
Three things come to mind immediately. I had my first one is the block party that I had with NYPD in East New
No
York.
pun intended, huh?
That one was amazing because, you know, East New York is an underrepresented community and a lot of people have their thoughts and feelings about NYPD. But
Mhm.
that day felt like we were family. Like it was just so much fun. We had a bouncy house, cotton candy machine. We were barbecuing. It really felt like the 90s all over again. And when the pictures came out, like the footage, I was just like in awe because we really made it happen. And people were like, I can't wait to be at the next one. You got to tell me when the next one is. And I'm just like, oh
Mhm.
my God, like y'all really like this. So curating events and community organizing has been like my favorite things about my role so far. The second thing is our prom prep giveaway that we had
You
with
said you're what?
our prom prep
Oh,
giveaway.
prom. Okay.
Yeah, that we had with Blossom BU project. They asked me to be a part of their prom drive, and it was amazing. We were able to have Maya the Dawn there, and the girls were obsessed.
They were in their toffee for
Oh
real.
my gosh, they were really in their toffee. Like, I mean, she came in and she set the vibes. The girls were so happy. They were able to get prom dresses. They were able to get service by a makeup artist, hairstylist. I mean, everything. So it really showed me that, you know, community is everything
Mhm.
because those hairstylists, those providers, they were willing to show up for our kids and give them those services for free at an important time in their life. Um, so that was two. Three was my field day that I had back in August. And I really enjoyed that one the most because I feel like it's a lost art. We don't really have relay races anymore.
Mhm.
We don't really spend time outside. The pandemic really took
Unless
that.
it's like family reunions.
Right, right. And the pandemic kind of took that away from us. So, and kids, TikTok, they on TikTok
Mhm.
all day. They don't really touch grass. Like
Not at all.
I need the kids to go touch some grass. So, that really made my year because we had a lot of kids come out. We had families come out, parents, they were super excited. Adidas and Woodstack gave us a lot of merch. You know, we had a bunch of sponsors and partners and we just had a good time. It was a time, okay? And I can't wait for next year because I know it will be better than ever.
Mhm.
So, those are like the three key events that really, you know, inspired me to continue because I have days where I don't want to continue. I have days where I'm
Yeah,
like,
so true.
Beyond the Block is about to be a dub. But I can't because of moments like that when people are like, thank you. People are sending me text messages like, you did it. Like, please, I can't wait for the next one. So,
Yeah, I feel that's really relatable too, because even just with what's Cookin's doing, it's like,
mhm,
yeah, I mean, my plan is to definitely do things like that. Like, I do want to be more involved, like, community wise, in terms of, like, like hosting my own stuff, like, whether it's toy
mhm.
drives, stuff like that. But
Yeah,
I mean, for now, it's like, we share other people's flyers.
yeah,
You see, I share your posts
yeah, of
too. Like,
course, of course.
we promote that stuff. And then sometimes too, like, we even show up. Like, we used to go to a lot of pop up shops in the beginning. We used to vlog out the pop up shops, give people their 2 seconds of fame.
Mhm,
And even some of the guests have been people we met at those events. Networking mixers, we went to a good amount of them. Now, um, our previous guest Prince, he has his own event called the Road Connection every month that we're sponsoring as well. And actually, I'd love for you to come to the next one 'cause I feel like it would be great for you.
okay.
But yeah, just having like all of these different like networks and building a community to
Mhm.
where it's like now we're branching out to serve, but we're also building that same network and community by bringing in more people and showing them like, hey, this is what we have going on, like all around us. Because when it comes to just the guests, like even earlier, our first 2 episodes, my friend Wani who made this piece right here, Wani Stay of Mine, and DJ Nick was a guest of ours. They're here exchanging
Mhm.
contacts. He gave him his
Mhm.
own like he had extra sweat, gave him extra sweater, and then just all of our previous guests just working together behind the scenes, on camera, they're here, introducing
Right.
themselves and stuff like that. Those are the moments where it's like for me, I feel like this is what I care about. Like, especially me being a YouTuber, if that's what you want to call me. People people tend to always focus on my views and
Yeah.
subscribers and stuff, and they're just like, oh, like like even from like other YouTubers, they try to give me this advice of trying to be like, entertaining and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
it's like it doesn't necessarily fit my niche in terms of what I'm trying
Yeah.
to do, like in terms
Yeah.
of who I'm trying to attract, So it's like for me, it's like um, if I got a silver play plaque from YouTube, that's nice. But the moments I live for are like the ones where I see, like I said, two
Yeah.
guests. The one just finished episode one about to hop in. They're talking. They might find something serviceable, right, in terms of how they could
Mhm.
relate to each other. And I try to do that with my scheduling too. It's like, yeah, I do have to be mindful of people's time, of course,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
sometimes I like to not say lie, but I tell them, oh, I can only do 3 o'clock, right? And it's like
Yeah.
3 o'clock because I know the person coming at
Right.
4
Mhm.
has something they
Some
could talk
value.
about
Yeah.
together,
Exactly.
collab. Like I've
Exactly.
seen some people collab, whether it was with clothes, I've seen some people collab on music,
Yeah.
so yeah, I like the fact that it's like we correlate in terms of what we're doing, even if it's
Mhm.
not like directly the same thing.
Yeah.
We still have the same vision for each other.
No,
Well, for
absolutely.
ourselves, I should
There's
say.
so much meaning behind this podcast. Like, it's not about views, it's about the connections that you make and, the information that you give
Yeah,
the
definitely,
public.
definitely.
So,
Yeah, because it was definitely
absolutely.
about just information. It was about
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
But then when I realized how big of a community and network I was building for
Mhm.
myself,
Mhm.
and then like I said, with road connections, with the pop up shops, everything,
Yeah.
I realized I was like, damn, I'm really bringing people together.
Absolutely.
So that's when I
Absolutely.
realized, okay, I'm doing something big
Yeah.
for the city. It's like it might not look like it now because it's like probably deal with like a couple boroughs here and there, but I'm sure the whole state, upstate, Long Island, like
Mhm.
everybody. I mean, we had Long Island people already, but still, like we've had out of state people, people
Mhm.
from different states drove up to New York. Um, one guy from Germany,
Wow.
so we got into in
Yeah.
terms of how we're bringing the world together,
Absolutely.
one step at a
Absolutely.
time. We showing them how it is to be beyond the block.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so especially so this is actually a good question for me to ask because it has to do with seasons, right?
Mhm.
So do you have like a drawing board of how you like to game plan what you want to do month by month or season by season?
So, right now, no. I feel like we don't really have a structure, but I'm hoping that in 2024 we really have like a game plan.
Hmm.
But I will say that summer is our busiest month. Everyone
Oh
wants
no, of
us.
course. All the
Yeah,
kids
everyone
outside.
exactly. Everyone wants us at their event. Everyone wants us to, curate events.
Hmm.
So we are jam packed in the summer because we want kids to stay busy, but we also want to close out and make sure that they're leaving, well, ending summer on a good note so that
Going
they,
right back to
yeah,
school.
exactly,
Hmm.
before they go back to school. So I don't have a game plan, but of course, like during holidays, we want to make sure we do something meaningful. During gun violence month, which is in June, we want to make sure that we do something meaningful. So it all depends, I guess, on the holiday and like what's going on that month. But for right now, we're sort of like winging it. So I'm hoping
Hmm.
that we get some structure along the
No, I
way.
mean that's understandable too,
Yeah.
because it's like when you think wintertime, you think, oh, okay, this is about to be a bunch of clothing drives, coat
Yeah,
drives, food drives,
exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and then the summer though, it actually makes me it reminds me a lot of my sister's middle school. So my sister went to her middle school is called BJP, Brooklyn Jesuit Prep,
Mhm.
and it's a very small, tiny school, and it's mostly for people who like, well, for kids who are coming from families like on low income and whatnot.
Mhm. Mhm.
somehow my mom finessed to get my sister into that school. But you know, that school is like mainly like about showing kids like like we understand coming from low income areas, but it's more
Mhm.
to life than just
Yes.
just the block. It's beyond the
Yes.
block, right?
Yes. Yes.
So one thing they used to do is every summer they used to take the kids to Fairfield University for like a
Okay.
sleepaway camp,
Yeah.
right? And I was a counselor for 2 of those years, for
Oh,
2 years, right?
nice. Okay.
And I had fun. I enjoyed it, but it's like it wasn't just sleepaway camp where it's like because when you think of camp these days now, people are just thinking it's like okay, you go somewhere, you about to do arts and crafts, you about to play sports, you about to have a snack and go home.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is stuff where the kids are going swimming, we're going on
Right.
hikes.
Right.
Where every Sunday there was what do you call it? It's like a Sunday concert thing where it's like the kids could dance, they could sing, poetry, whatever. Actually, one of my guests last week was actually one of my campers.
Wow.
Yeah, like he's
Full
he's
circle. Full
yeah, I know.
circle.
We were talking about it. I was like, yo, this kid right here was like the leader. It's like I
Wow.
didn't have the energy. I used to fall back on this kid, and he had enough respect to us. Like he was a seventh grader too. He had enough respect to where the eighth graders were listening to him. So yeah, that like just think about how like all those things like flowed. It's like it kind of ties
Mhm.
into
Mhm.
Beyond the Block in terms of how Beyond the Block is like one of those well, it is the organization that's doing the exact
Yeah.
same thing, putting
Yeah.
on for the kids and showing them, hey, you
Absolutely.
don't have to stay home on video games all the time.
No. There's
You could
so
go
much.
outside, you could go
Yeah.
swim, you could jump rope, you could
Listen.
play, even if you were playing in the park, you could play basketball, soccer, whatever.
There's
Go for a
so
run.
much more to life
Yeah.
than being home.
And
There's a whole world to see out
yeah,
there.
because the parents used to highlight that a lot. They did a recap video. One of the parents said that. It was
Mhm.
like, what's my kid gonna do if they stay home? Play video games all day? Hell no.
Mhm.
I'd rather them go be
Exactly.
active,
Exactly.
and be active somewhere safe,
Yeah.
not over here,
Yeah.
And she said that. I
Absolutely.
was like, that's honesty right there, but
Yeah.
it's
It's
true.
necessary.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one thing I definitely did want to ask as well is just in terms of just like sponsors, like from well, I mean you kind of touched on it earlier, but
Mhm.
just like what has the sponsorship been like in terms of like finding people that like, help the cause? I know you say sometimes it's just like random, like somebody just hits you up and say, "Hey, I
Mhm.
want to help you out with this," but
Yeah.
like, what has it been in terms of like reaching out?
It's been hard.
Okay.
It's been really hard because, the businesses and the companies that we support don't really support us back, right? So when I do
Meaning,
outreach, it's really like hard.
so what do you mean by that? Like, if you give an example.
When I say that, I mean like cold calling, sending emails, even popping up to their stores. It's really hard to get a response from some of these businesses that, I support on a daily.
Mhm.
They could be local, they can be, corporate companies, but I'm not going to name them, of course,
No, of
because we
course not.
might have a
But yeah,
partnership in the
or
future.
they might want
But
to come to
e-
West Cooking and clear their name. Who
exactly,
knows?
exactly. So I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth. But it was really eye opening when I needed them the most and it was no response. But the people that do show up for us, they offer money, they offer services, they help us market ourselves and promote. So that's great. And they help us create a name for ourselves. So when people see their logo on
Mhm.
our flyer,
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, okay."
they could go
Like,
tap in with
I
that
I
business.
wanna be
Yeah,
a part of this now, which is sad to say because you should have shown us love.
I mean,
Y
hey,
Yeah,
a podcast the same way.
irregardless, but, um, it helps a lot because they connect us with people that we might have never reached before,
Mhm.
a different demographic that we might have never reached before. So it's definitely helpful, but it's also like exhausting trying to get sponsors and partners because they're not as supportive as I would hope for them to be.
You know,
But
not
I also understand because they're depending on the company, depending on the business, they might have a lot on their plate. So I do try to give them grace. They might not be able to get back to me, but a response at least, please,
yeah, I was
y'all.
gonna say, like, do you
Yeah.
feel like it was just a lack of interest, or do you feel like it was just because of
It could be a number of
just
things.
being busy?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be a number of things. Some people miss our emails. Some people don't return our phone calls. Some people might not be interested in supporting a small nonprofit organization. It might not correlate with their, mission at the time or whatever, their values. So I do try to find people that have similar interests and values as us. But when I do research or look for companies that, are local or whatever the case may be, and they don't get back to me, especially when I go in person, that's a little
Oh no,
hurtful.
that's yeah.
Yeah, that's a little hurtful. So, I mean, sponsorships has definitely helped us, but they don't make us.
No,
So
of
we're
course.
not who our sponsors are. I love y'all, of course.
And I love
I'm
that you said that too,
yeah,
because that's the message I've been trying to get out for this podcast. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely beneficial, but Beyond the Block is going to go high places with or without them. So yeah. But of
amen
course,
to that.
if you're watching this and you want to
No, I mean,
sponsor us.
no, because like you do have to be brutally honest, because it's like it's like I'm very big on reciprocation, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like for example, with our podcast, right? There's people who've told me, oh, if they want to come to my podcast, I have to pay them. Like, oh, but not me per se, but
Mhm.
in general,
As their
I have
yeah,
fees and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I respect that, and it's actually a topic I'm saving for like when my whole team is here. I want to have that conversation about
Yeah.
influencer versus successful person,
Yeah, yeah,
like the parallels between that.
yeah.
But yeah, some people have fees, but some people is just like they kind of look at me and like they look at my platform and like, I have like 100K on Instagram. Why don't I pull up to your platform? It's like when people say stuff like that, it's like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll find somebody that has
Yeah,
100K and
yeah,
you feel me, bring them. Or
exactly.
it could be a millionaire, like, oh, I'm a millionaire. I have so much value in game and all this stuff. Like, that's fine. I'll go to the
Yeah.
next person. So I'm
Another
unapologetic with it.
another thing that I've like noticed during this season is that the people that you admire really are. Can I curse on here?
I mean, that's your choice. I tell people don't do a lot, but some people
I-
tend to say like some small stuff. But,
oh my gosh. Okay,
and
I'm
some
not.
people prefer not to. I prefer not to because I
Okay,
like to keep
okay.
it professional. But
Yeah,
some people step up.
the people that
A-holes. You can
yes,
say it that way. That's fine.
yes, some of them are real a-holes, and it's shocking because we shouldn't really admire them, but if you how do I phrase this? People that inspire you
Mhm.
on social media are not good people sometimes. And that's been like a real eye opener for me during this season because when I do reach out to them or I do look for insight from them and I don't get that, it's kind of like, wow, I support you regardless. And, I need, some
Mhm.
some sort of like information or whatever the case may be. And they're just not responsive is definitely hurt.
Mhm.
So I mean the 100K followers, it doesn't matter how many, people you're following. Your character says a lot about you than how many people you're following. So I don't even worry about them. Like if they want to be stingy and not come on the podcast and they want money from it, which I understand because
Mhm.
this is that might be their career, but it's I think it's unfair sometimes. Yeah.
But it's like I know people get upset when it's like, they see me actually not care that I go,
Mhm.
have somebody else that does the exact same thing as them tell the exact same story and tell probably less of what they probably would have told, and then they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
people get, and then that's when people want to be like, you know what? All right,
Yeah,
let me
I'll
come
do it.
up
I'll do
now. I
it.
want to
I'll
come
do it.
talk
Right, right, right.
speak my piece. Like,
I
no.
definitely feel like people are gonna jump on the bandwagon
Mhm.
like in a couple of years.
Oh no, of course.
And they're gonna be like, oh my God, I always support. No, I
No.
remember. I remember.
Yeah,
I was telling my friend that
remember
today.
everything.
Like, I remember because when I asked you for so and so and you were unresponsive, I remember. And that's okay. Like you might not feel the need to support now, but I do need that support. Like you might not feel like it's beneficial or you might not feel like it'll do anything for me, but yes, it does. So I feel like people are going to say, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Like I've seen you do this since day one." Save it. Save it. I mean, if it's not genuine, if you're not supporting me from like the lows and when I was like crawling and first starting out, just save it.
Yeah, no, because
Yeah.
it's like I have a story I tell, but I'd rather say it off camera because I never know. I never know if this girl's gonna watch. But yeah, nah.
You think you
It's
have
got a
a
story.
certain person is popping up in your
Yeah,
mind right
it's
now,
like now
right?
she gonna be a
Now a few
YouTuber, and
people.
it's like now
Right. Oh my
liking
gosh.
all my posts
That
and stuff.
no,
Nah,
seriously, can we talk about how, people tend to ignore all the stuff that you're doing in the very beginning, but as soon as things pop off,
not
they
even
want
pop off. It's when they want to
yeah,
start.
that too. As
Hmm.
soon as they want to start their own thing, they're like, "Oh my god,
They need as
how did
much
you?"
advice in
Yeah.
the world.
Ah,
Like I wouldn't think I'd have
hello.
the advice you would want.
Hello. And I always share advice. That's one thing about me. Like sometimes I don't want to
Yeah.
respond, but the Lord convicts me. I'm not gonna lie. God is like, you know what? Don't ignore that girl's message. And I
Mhm.
and I respond. Like it'll probably take me a while, but then I'm like, you know what? Here's the information that you were asking for. A lot of people have done that to me. And I'm trying to like be nice about it, but don't do that to people. Like if you want information, just come on.
You know what I tell people now? If you want information, watch these episodes because that's legit. Like that was the whole
Yeah,
purpose of it.
yeah,
So it's like people, like for
yeah.
example, right?
And
I'm a like I'm a trader. So it's like I just had Tim just now, right before
mhm.
you, right? And then my friend Kimani's episode just dropped like a couple days ago. Like instead of asking me for trading advice, go watch those 2 episodes.
Yeah. And
Like
they're not going to.
they're
They're
not
not
going
going
to.
to
They
because
just gonna
people
keep
are
nagging me
lazy.
and be like, "Yo,
Exactly.
come on,
People
bro.
are
How
lazy
much I gotta pay you?"
and
Like,
they want things handed to them. And that's not how I started my organization. I had to work for it. I had to stay up late, research, watch videos,
you
talk
gotta
to
do the
people.
same process yourself.
Yeah, but like I will definitely help someone, but I'm not gonna hold your hand. And
Mhm.
that's two different things. But I just feel like once you're genuine and authentic, I feel like people should just see that and support. It
Mhm.
like come on, nobody's gonna kill you for liking my Instagram picture. Like, come on, nobody's gonna kill you for sharing this flyer. Just
Mhm.
do it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the toxicity that's out there in this
Yeah,
generation.
yeah.
Because even with raw reviews, I think you did a
Listen,
collab with them, right?
yeah, we
They you're on their page, right? We did
yes.
an episode with
I
them
love
too,
you,
but
raw reviews.
it's a audio only exclusive though. But we because
Mm,
they want to stay
mhm.
mysterious. But yeah, we did a
People have their thoughts and feelings about raw reviews, but you know what? They're supporting Beyond the Block.
no, they
So
definitely support what's cooking too. Because like I remember I DM'd one of the girls, um, what like 11, 12 businesses. And I said, we could do like a special thing where it's
oh,
like,
that's nice. Yeah.
what's cooking endorses these businesses
Mhm,
basically.
mhm, mhm.
But she was like, she doesn't like to do the brand stuff because then it's like it looks like she's playing
Favorite.
favorites.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but nonetheless,
Yeah.
though,
I
it's
mean,
like
I feel like once you get that stamp of approval on raw reviews, that's why I don't want do not put no raw review about Beyond the Block NYC. Like, do
you
not
really
do
can't
that.
though.
Do not do
What can you
that.
really put
They might
like a
think
negative
I don't
review
know, maybe
about?
they say we started our event too late. I don't know. Don't put no raw review about us.
The food was cold. Like that's not my fault.
Right.
That's not her
But
fault.
you know
Like
what? I don't engage with their posts, but I appreciate them for highlighting us because a lot of people on their platform could benefit from our services and our
Mhm.
program. So thank you, a review. But I'ma just end that there because I don't want people to think, oh, she got this raw
no,
review.
no,
Like,
because I was gonna say like
yeah,
for
I
me
don't.
personally, I had a Facebook status that went viral
Mhm.
on raw reviews. They like I don't even know how raw reviews found. I mean, they have
I
my
mean,
Instagram,
yeah,
understandable, but my Facebook, I don't know where they found my Facebook from.
yeah.
I said, if raw reviews is such a negative page, why don't we all take our friends' businesses that we swear we support so much
Mhm.
and go write positive reviews
Right.
on those businesses,
Wow, that's a good
right?
point.
I posted that, and there was some comments like, "Yo, this is the one. I agree with this." Blah blah. It was a
Mhm.
lot of positive comments. There were a few negative ones, and it's like, I went on my personal because I didn't want to go on the What's Cooking page and
Mhm.
seem negative. So on my personal page, and I was replying back to people. I was like, yeah, I appreciate you for agreeing. I like your mindset. I'm just telling people things. Now the negative ones, I'm just trying to like play devil's advocate. Like somebody said, my toxic flaw is I really just come here for the negative reviews just to see
Well,
the
you
drama.
see, I don't like
And
that.
and
I don't
I
like
replied,
that.
I said, well, what's wrong with being positive too? Like, she goes, oh, I am very much positive, sir. Thank you. I'm just like, You too. Stay blessed. 2024. Let's try to aim for the green post instead.
Like,
And
come
she seen
on.
that and she was like, "Oh, he got something." I didn't even bother reading the rest
And
of
that's
it.
the
She wrote a whole
problem.
paragraph. I didn't bother.
People,
But
yeah.
look, there was one comment that really got me. This girl said, "Here go men always going in women's business again." I'm like, yo, bro. I
Is
understand
this
raw.
not a gender neutral?
I understand raw
platform?
reviews. Mostly it has like makeup
Well,
artists
yeah.
and hair, nail
Yeah.
girls and whatnot.
But it was never
said-
just for that demographic.
She said, "Here go men in women's business." I said, "Sweetheart, this is my post. First of all, if you couldn't tell the correlation between my Facebook name and my Instagram name, all right, I'm not gonna call it slow, but that's what I wanted to say at the time. But I said, look, like this is my post. First of all, second of all, it's about being positive. What's wrong with that?" And then she replied, like she just replied with laughing emojis. And then people like started like you would have thought you would have thought I sent people
I know
to go
I know,
respond to her
I
for me, but
know.
people responded for me. I'm like,
I'ma
I just let her get jumped in the comments.
I'ma
That's all.
just raw reviews. Thank you for supporting us. Like, it's not sponsored. They're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts, and I appreciate that. I don't want anyone to think that we got to where we are because of them. So if anyone has any ideas,
I mean, I wouldn't think so.
Okay, good.
I mean, of course, I know you personally,
people,
but still, like
people
you've
like
been around
to,
before that post even happened.
People, no. I'm just saying, like in general, people like to think, oh, she got that raw reviews, cosign. No, that's not what it is. They just want to make sure that we reach, more people. So thank you for that. But yeah.
Yeah. So like, I know you said everything's not necessarily planned per se, but like, what would you say is like the next steps for Beyond the Block if you had anything in mind brainstormed?
Our recreational center. I'm like 100,
like building one or
yes,
just okay.
building my own recreational center. I am 100% sure that I will be getting my own physical space. I'm not sure when. I hope it's real soon, but I want all my energy to go into that because I want a space in Brooklyn. I have so many ideas on how we can utilize that space. I'm grateful for the people that allow me to use their spaces, but I would love my own. But that's the big goal. A little smaller goal is our signature programs. We have a Girls Inc. Mind and Body program that's powered by Girls Inc., which is a nonprofit organization. We have our Mentoring Matters program. So if you are interested in being a mentor, definitely hit us up. And we're trying to create our third signature program so that we have 3 core programs for our participants.
Okay,
So yeah.
that's what's up. So one question that just popped into my mind before we wrap up is I know you mentioned NYPD, but how's the rest of the city been in terms of like reception with you? Like do politicians interact with you guys? Do like I guess what Board of Ed get involved? Does fire department, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, so funny enough, I'm glad you asked that because a lot of people don't know this, but I am training with the mayor's office right now for nonprofit services.
Listen, before you even continue, make sure he stays inside. I'm tired. He's at every party. Me and Ross, we joke about this all the time. Bro. Sooner or later, you're gonna see him in this podcast, and it's not even gonna be to talk about politics. He's gonna come here to speak about the last party he went to with this celebrity. Mayor Adams, stay inside, please.
Look, listen, I'm a huge advocate of outside, okay? But I'm not an advocate for cutting our budgets.
Oh, that was definitely huge.
Yeah, so that's another topic for another day. But I am training with the mayor's office right now, so I'm super excited about that. We're actually wrapping up, and I'm gonna be having like a graduation ceremony this week. So yeah, they've been helpful. So I have been in contact with the mayor's office. I'm trying to think who else, and I can't think. The borough president's office. So they've definitely helped me. The Brooklyn Public Library, Children's Museum. So I am trying to reach local organizations, but also city and state organizations. And we'll get there, like, slowly but
Because
surely.
city come with a lot of benefits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And I do work for the Department of Ed, so that helps a lot also because I'm able to reach a lot more people,
Mhm.
connect with a lot more students. There are some ramifications with that, of course, because I work for the DOE. I can't provide services right now for the DOE as Beyond the Block, but eventually we'll get to a place where we're able to connect the two. But right now, I think the biggest thing is the mayor's office. Like, a lot of people don't even know that I'm training with them right now. It's a new program that they initiated this year, so I'm happy to be one of the first people
That's what's up.
to
Congrats.
be a part of that program. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited about
So,
that.
Bianca, I had a long day. I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie. But
That's
it
all right.
was definitely a pleasure to finally get you here after
Yes,
playing
thank
phone tag for
you.
like
I know,
months.
months.
And it's not even like it's your fault. It's
No,
just
honest.
it's more my fault than yours. But
Let me be honest. I did not want to come up on here because I just feel like we're not where I want to be yet. And I know that's self-sabotage, but
I'm gonna stop you right there. By the time these episodes drop, so much time done went by. It's like,
past, right,
like
right.
that's why when people like promote, like let's say, like, for example, like I had a couple guests promote like an
Mhm.
event for the following week. I'm like, yo, bro,
This is not dropping
it's
anytime
you're
soon.
not
Right.
gonna, and then
I
it
get
drops
that. I
like
get
4 months
that.
later, and
I
it's like
get
they
that.
have
Yeah.
more to talk about. And when it drops, the first thing people tell me when they watch the episode, yo, bro, I got more stuff to talk about. We gotta get back up there again. I'm just like, in due time, let the people who didn't get up here first, and then you could come back.
Well, dang, I can't promote my next event coming up. I mean,
No, you
I'm just
can,
joking.
you
I'm
can.
just joking. I
Let
mean,
them know what's
depending
going
on
on. Let them know
depending
what's
on
going
when
on.
this
So
drops, I am having a toy drive this Friday, and I'm gonna be having a special guest, Jay Critch, the Hood
oh, I'm
Fave,
going.
which I'm really excited about because
That was my
I'm the
favorite
Hood
artist,
Fave as
man.
well. So it's gonna be Battle of the Hood Faves. So it's gonna be real fun. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have some food, some toys for the kids. A great host, Prince from New York. I'm excited. So
Yeah, he's
yeah,
definitely one that's been for the community too. I see he's been
absolutely,
tapping in more like in terms of like
absolutely.
being even one of our guests, SB Studios. He did a
Hmm.
pop-up shop with him
Wow.
over the
Yeah,
summer.
he's for the people for
Yeah, he's
sure.
definitely for the people. I
Yeah.
see all the time he posts videos with kids, like he does basketball tournaments,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This was
Oh,
great.
definitely. But before you go, you gotta let everybody know where they
Oh,
can
of
find you at.
course. You guys can follow me on Instagram
Hmm.
at beyondtheblock.nyc, and you can follow my mental health page, my professional page, Ask Bianca SIG.
Yeah. So I mean, do you want to touch up on that, or you
Yeah,
just
I
want
mean, I
everybody to
can't.
just follow you?
Yeah. So my mental health page, my professional page, is geared towards, obviously mental health. I am a licensed social worker, so I do provide therapy services. If you're looking for a therapist, I keep it all the way real. So if you're interested in solution focused therapy, definitely hit me up. And honestly, if you want to know about more community events, follow Beyond the Block.
All right. So
Thank
Bianca, it
you.
was definitely a pleasure to finally
Thank
do this
you.
episode. Like I told you earlier, all the like for the most part, every guest that was here today were all people that I've been talking to for like
I know.
6 months,
It's crazy.
5, 4, like like it's been so long that it's like they finally got their chance up here. It's like
I'm glad. And
I
now this is the
apologize. I
perfect way to end the
apologize.
year.
Yeah, so all
Perfect
the
way.
viewers that's waiting for their turn, trust me, I apologize. We'll get to y'all next. All
We'll
right,
get
so
to you. Don't
yes,
worry.
yeah, so just like that, y'all see what's cooking with Beyond the Block. It's Breeze, and I'm out.